let it be known that in the 12 years that I have known how to crochet, I have never finished a single blanket. I've definitely started a few blankets, but I've never finished one. And for a knitter and crocheter, the gap between Christmas and New Year's can sometimes be like limbo. You need a quick project that will get you through that limbo so you can have your projects cleared before New Year to start with new projects. New year, new projects, if you're one of those people. So I figured, why not try to complete my first blanket as well as complete that first blanket during crochet limbo. The pattern I'm using is the 6-Day Star Blanket by Betty McKnit. We are mutuals over on TikTok, which is pretty cool. I've actually heard he started it. I started it last night around midnight, and I am planning to use a bunch of my scraps and leftovers of worsted weight acrylic yarn, because while there's nothing wrong with worsted weight acrylic yarn, it's just not necessarily where I am in my knitting and crocheting, and I don't use it a lot. So I am planning to use up what I have, not all that I have left, but at least some of it, for a star blanket. And this is what I have so far. I did the purple. Today I'm planning on doing the blue. Well, I also did this today. During daylight today, I'm planning on doing the blue. And hopefully I can get through some of my worsted weight acrylic yarn that I have in stash. I know I won't be using all of it because that would require a massive blanket, and I don't think I can complete a massive blanket in a week. Or I guess I have 6 days now, since if I had started it on Christmas, which was yesterday, that would have been a week. But no, I have 6 days to complete my 6-Day Star Blanket. It'll be fine. I should probably also mention that if I crochet for too long, I get a lot of issues with my wrist and my thumb. So hopefully I will not destroy my wrist and thumb while crocheting this blanket. I'm going to start on the blues now. I should probably also mention that this pattern has you go up a hook size if you find that your work is curling, like mine is. I started with a 6.5mm hook, went up to a 7, found that it was still curling, so I am now at an 8. And I'm using the Clover Amore hooks. The setup rounds are completed and I am on my first not setup round, and as you can see it's still curling in a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few more rounds with this hook size and see if it is still curling, and then I will go up another hook size. I am a tight crocheter. I started, like, when I got really into crocheting, I started with amigurumi and I crocheted a lot of amigurumi, and I think that because with amigurumi you need to have tight stitches, I just wound up a super tight crocheter. So hopefully I don't have to go up so many hook sizes that I run out of hook sizes to go up to, because that would be very bad. But this is where I'm at so far. I just looked and this is the largest hook I have, so hopefully we do not have to use it, because I don't want to use it. I mean, that would just be, you know, a little excessive, if you know what I mean. So hopefully it stops curling soon. Oh, and I put my yarns, my blue yarns, in an order. This is the order. I'm using this now, so this goes right here, and that is the order in which I'm using the colors in, and I think that that will work. So that is what I am doing. And hopefully, since I'm using the more tealy blue over here, that will go into the green. Alright. Or I want to see if I have a variegated yarn that's blues and greens. Like here I have the variegated yarn that has the, turn it over to the right side, the purples and blues in it to kind of transition the colors. My brother and his family were just visiting, and I got a decent bit of work done on this while they were here. And for Christmas they got me this little yarn bag that holds my yarn and does not allow it to run away from me. So I've been keeping my yarn in that. So I think I have one more shade of blue. That shade of blue left, and then I'm going to look through and try and find a variegated yarn that has blue and green in it, so I can transition from the blue to the green a little bit more, kind of like how I did with this right here. So that is the plan. It is day 2 of working on my start blanket. Last night I went all the way through to this point and I just started this first row of this shade of green. I think I have 4 more shades of green to go. Then I am probably going to try to get through yellow today. I don't have that many shades of yellow. So, but the rounds are getting quite long about now, so I don't know. I just finished my second pattern repeat. I have 2 more shades of green, this one and then this one, before I use this yarn to transition from green to yellow. So that is the plan. And I am hoping to probably get my yellows done today. I've already figured out how I'm going to transition into my oranges, so yeah, my yarn is over there by the sleeping dog right there. Fenway! There he is. There's Fenway. Pardon the poor lighting. It is nighttime, but I have finished with the green, and I have 3 more rounds left of the pattern repeat I'm on, and 3 colors of yellow, so I think tonight I'm going to try to finish the yellow, and tomorrow I can go into the orange, which I only have 1 shade of orange, as well as kind of a yellowy orange variegated thing that I can use to put between the yellow and the orange to kind of transition those, but I'm going to do the yellow tonight. This seems to be going quite quickly, but I am aware that as I get through the rounds, they are going to get a lot longer. Also, I just realized I'm not wearing my glasses. Maybe that's why everything's blurry. But I'm going to try and get through the yellow tonight. It is almost 9:30, which is really not that late. So, yeah, I just don't want to overwork it and hurt my wrists, because my right wrist as well as my left thumb tend to have issues when I crochet for too long. I'm not wearing my glasses. I look kind of weird. There are some glasses. Oh, they're right here. Ooh, I can see. Oh, look at that glare. Pretty sure that is NCIS glaring in my glasses. I'm gonna go before I ramble for too much longer. Pardon the council in the background just watching over us. Is there a cat up there? No, there is not. There's usually a cat up there that is also watching over us. There are maybe cats on my bed behind the council. I'm an adult, I swear. I do adult things. I voted There we go. The greatest works of Edgar Allan Poe, just to just to level out the council. Anyway, yesterday was day 3 and I did not record at all. I just was not feeling up to it. But I did complete the orange and the red. I did not have a lot of either of those. So, yeah, and then I started my first round of pink, which, yeah, I have now finished 4 repeats, and I have 6 pink yarns left, which will get me to 5 repeats, which is what the pattern suggests for an adult size blanket. So that is what I am going to do. I have my pink yarns in a box right next to my desk. I haven't fully decided on what order these are going to go in yet. That one too. And I'm going to use this fluffy one for the last round of the blanket, which will be in single crochet, to kind of add a little bit of a border, some pizzazz, give it a little bit of a different texture. Also, I wanted to add this, but there is no way that I'm going to crochet into it. It just seems horrible to crochet into. And I have a lot of it. I don't even know why I have so much of this. I have more than one skein. Maybe 3 or 4. Multiple skeins of this fluffy pink yarn. Have I mentioned that I am not an enjoyer of the color pink? But I have a lot of pink yarn for someone who's not much of an enjoyer of the color. I think the last time I used pink yarn for something was this shade of pink for that 0 right there last year. For the collar. So, yeah. Well, I also did socks for my grandma recently, and they were in a variegated pink yarn. There's a fly on my desk. Did you all see that? It kind of just flew by. Anyway, I did some socks for my grandma in variegated pink yarn, but I rarely ever do anything in pink for myself. I'm just not a pink person, I guess. I feel like if you look at me, you can probably figure out what my 2 favorite colors are. So, yeah. I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to start crocheting for day 4. Also, my head hurts. You can't see it here, but I have a desk lamp on my bedside table that has my charging cords plugged into it, and it is right next to my desk chair, and one of the cords was in my desk chair. I was not paying attention. I went to sit down in my desk chair and it pulled the lamp on top of me and it hit me on the head. Maybe that explains why I'm rambling so much. Anyway, I'm going to get to crocheting now. I think my first shade of pink for today will be this. I think it will go nicely with this neon pink that I have right here. And I don't know if I've showed this yet. I have very poor memory. But I've been putting all of my cakes... Let me find the... Hello? Haha. Found the center. I've been putting all of my cakes into this bag that my brother and his family got me for Christmas. And it has been very nice for keeping track of my yarn cakes. It has the little hole here that you can just... and then zip that up, and now I don't have to worry about one of the cats running away with my cake of yarn as I am working with it. It's very nice. I'm gonna set it back here with the council while I pull from it. It has been several hours since I last filmed, and I am just now starting on the blanket for today. Why is that, you may be wondering? Well, I started feeling horrible. I feel horrible on a regular basis. Extremely fatigued, in a lot of pain, all the time. the works. But I was feeling a little worse than normal earlier today. I still am feeling worse than normal. Um, so I laid down. I thought I was going to take a nap. I could not take a nap. Um, my body did not allow for that to happen. Apparently, um, taking a nap is not the way to fix everything, especially when your body doesn't allow you to take one. But I noticed, like, half an hour ago that my head was feeling a little warm. So I went to take my temperature. And I am used to running like 98-degree fevers, which might not be fevers for everyone, but my normal body temperature ranges from like 96.5 to 97.4, around there. And a body temperature of 98 can have me feeling quite awful. But no, my current body temperature is sitting somewhere around 100.5, which is high for me. So yeah, that probably is at least one explanation for why I feel worse than normal. Um, do I know why I have a fever? Nope, no clue. So I'm just gonna lay here in bed and work on my blanket. I don't know how much I'm going to get done tonight. It would be really nice if I could finish these last 6 rounds tonight, but if I'm unable to, I will not beat myself up. I would really, really like to have at least 3 rounds done tonight, and if I don't get that amount done, I will indeed beat myself up. That is me being sarcastic. I will not beat myself up. Yeah. Alrighty, so today is day 5 of working on my 6-day star blanket. It is 10, almost 11 o'clock at night, and I just started working for today. I slept for most of the day. I had an appointment, but other than that, I slept, so I have not had a lot of time to work on it. I guess something I'm realizing is maybe trying to do a project with more of a rigid schedule like this when your health is extremely unpredictable is maybe not the best idea, but I am still enjoying the process, and I will be finishing this blanket tonight. So, yep, I did get the 3 rounds that I really wanted to get done yesterday done, so now I just have 3 rounds left. I am a tad bit worried about the pink kind of taking things over because my yellows, oranges, and reds, I did not have a lot of those. It was mostly, so far in my blanket, I've had the most of green and blue. So I'm a tiny bit worried about the pink potentially taking over, but I mean, this is not a project that I have. It's definitely like the kind of project that you do because you want to work through some of your stash. Like, I'm not going into this, I did not go into this expecting it to be perfect. I was well aware of the fact that I will have some colors where I have more yarns for them than others, and that might look a little bit weird. So, or that I might put 2 shades of one color next to each other and realize that I don't like them together, and that's just the way that it is. So, I mean, I'm not going to be upset if the pink takes over, but it's just, I have a talent for worrying about things, I guess. So, yeah. Yarn. Also, I just want to mention that my mom got me this pillow pet of Zero from The Nightmare Before Christmas for Christmas this year, and it's a really good armrest for crocheting in bed. Helps with my shoulder because I have a lot of shoulder issues, so it's been very nice. It is finished! I finished my blanket on December 30th, which was day 5 of working on it, and I'm currently filming this on January 9th because I kind of went through a struggle with my health there for a bit and was not feeling well enough to record. So, yeah, but it was nice to be stuck in bed. Well, it wasn't nice to be stuck in bed, but what I'm trying to say, it was nice to have this blanket to be stuck in bed with. And I'll add in some pictures so y'all can see it better in full. It is a decently sized blanket. It's definitely a lap blanket, which is perfectly fine by me. When I'm not in my bed, I'm usually at my desk in terms of, just sitting around. I don't just exist from my bed to my desk. I go other places, like outside to walk my dog. But I'm gonna start rambling again. But this is very nice to have at my desk chair. Just while I'm sitting, have this on my lap, and it keeps my lap nice and warm. I have poor blood flow due to my health issues, so my feet are always cold. And it's not just a winter thing where my feet are cold year round. So I really like having a blanket at my desk to keep my feet warm. It's also really nice for in the car. So, yeah. I was talking to my dad about this, but I have been collecting yarn, the yarn that was used in this project, for about 12 years. And I can go through and tell y'all what a majority of these yarns are. Like this one is Red Heart Super Saver. I do not remember the colorway. This one is some Craft Smart yarn that I got for Christmas in 2018. This is some Red Heart Super Saver and Amethyst. This is more of that Craft Smart yarn that I got in 2018. This is some Red Heart Super Saver. It was 2018. Hold on, I just got a text. Oh, I just got a text from my grandma. She crocheted a shawl in, 2 days? It's pretty darn cool, if y'all are wondering where I get it from. Speaking of my grandma, in 2018 she gave me this giant bin of yarn, and it had assorted just a whole bunch of different yarns, some older than I am, but I'm fairly certain that this was one of those yarns. This is some Vanish Choice that may have been in that bin. This is more yarn from Christmas of 2018. My brother and his family got it for me. My other brother, not the same brother, and his family that got me the bag. Different brother, I have 3 of them. Some Red Heart Super Saver, some more Red Heart Super Saver, also Red Heart Super Saver. This is some Craft Smart yarn that my friend got me for my 14th birthday back in also 2018. This is some Red Heart Super Saver that has been in my stash for years, or probably was in my mom's stash before it was in mine. More Red Heart Super Saver, more Red Heart Super Saver. I have no clue what this green yarn is. It was more of the yarn that came from the bin from my grandma, and it did not have a label. This is one of the yarns that I think is as old as or older than I am. Red Heart Super Saver, Red Heart Super Saver, Red Heart Super Saver. Some more yarn that didn't have a label on it from my grandma. I just know that it's not Red Heart Super Saver. And this variegated right here, when I was starting to crochet, get into crocheting or try to get into crocheting, 10 years ago. I was 8 years old, so I was not that successful at getting deeply into it. There was this crochet along for a blanket where throughout the summer there were different blocks that you were crocheting and you would piece them together for a blanket. And my mom and I went out and we got a bunch of yarn for this project. And I gave up one square in when I created a triangle instead of a square, and no one thought to tell me. Like, my mom and my grandma saw this triangle that was supposed to be a square because I was not, you know, I didn't go all the way to my end of row, or I accidentally skipped a stitch at the end of my row. And neither of them pointed it out to me because they didn't want to hurt my feelings, because I was so proud of my square that just wound up being a triangle. And after finishing it and realizing that I had a triangle, I gave up. Red Heart Super Saver. This is some Red Heart Super Saver from the bin of yarn that my grandma gave me, and in 2019 I had a commission. I used to bowl in a league, and one of my teammates, his mom, commissioned a duck from me, and this duck was supposed to be kind of a replica of my teammate's like childhood stuffed animal. And she wanted me to crochet a duck for him to take to college because he was graduating soon. So this is Red Heart Super Saver again. The color is lemon, and my grandma recently crocheted a hexagon cardigan for one of her neighbors, and whenever she crochets hexagon cardigans, she gives them to me to seam up, because she's tried to seam them up before but hasn't been successful, so I just seam them up for her, and she let me keep the leftovers from seaming it up, because, like, what are you gonna do with a ball that's like this big? Speaking of my grandma and yarn, this is from a blanket she crocheted, and she got the yarn at Michael's when she was actually birthday shopping for me with my little sister. And she got this yarn because she was going to crochet a blanket for someone. She crocheted the blanket, it was a moss stitch blanket, but while she was originally getting the yarn at Michael's, they did not have enough to finish the blanket, so she had to order more. But if you know anything about ordering stuff from Michael's, is that they have a set quantity of like how much you have to order, and you cannot order individual skeins of this. You had to order the pro pack, which is like 18 skeins. So she finished the blanket and gave me the rest of it, and I actually used this for my Halloween sweater vest that I crocheted. Red Heart Super Saver, Red Heart Super Saver, also Red Heart Super Saver, and this was from one of the first things patterns that I knit from. It was a brioche and colorwork cowl, and I got this color as well as a sparkly black for it. This is Lion Brand Pound of Love that came from my grandma. This is some Vanish Choice neon pink right here, and it is more yarn that my friend got me for my birthday. More Red Heart Super Saver. This dark pink right here I used for my little sister's birthday present last year. It was a virus shawl. More Red Heart Super Saver, more Red Heart Super Saver. And a couple months ago, my grandma gave me this bag that had some yarn in it that had just been laying around somewhere for a while. I know that she's given me yarn and stuff that has come from her neighbors or coworkers or friends or whatever, bags that contain yarn from people other than her. But one of the bags, don't know whose yarn this was, but it was someone's yarn, and there was a bunch of this fluffy yarn. I still don't know what I'm going to do with all of it. I think I have like 6 skeins. I really need to count how much of that I have left, because I've just been giving random numbers. But there is a lot of yarn in this project, and a lot of different, they came from different places, and yeah. My memory usually, like, my short-term memory is not great, but I can remember things like this. But yeah, it has a bit of a story to it, and every year oh, I'm not gonna say every year, a lot of years. Well, every year there is a county fair, and for several of these years that I have been alive, I have entered things into the county fair. If you see those ribbons up there, I actually won 10 ribbons last year. Those are some of them. But I'm going to enter this into the county fair this year. So, yeah, it's my first blanket that I have finished, and I am proud of it. Something I need to get better at saying is that I am just proud of stuff. I need to get better at allowing myself to be proud of things. So, here's my blanket that I finished in 5 days.